Buddy, how are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, it feels like forever since we've been on.
Welcome to another Wednesday night OWCP
Wednesday
chats.
night of? Yeah, it's been a little while. We forgot
Wednesday
what we're
night
called.
OWCP chats with that guy and Gini.
But tonight is going to be such an important night. I hope you told your friends to watch. If you didn't, they're missing out. Because in a minute, I'm going to bring on our very good friend, Rich Ray. He's president of NALC Branch 99 in Staten Island. And he's been a friend of mine for a few years now. And the first time we met, we did one of his union meetings on Zoom during COVID. And we started at like 9 p.m. I think we went till midnight. And it was the funnest meeting I'd ever been part of. So then we got a chance to meet him in person. We went to Manhattan to the office there. And we've been friends ever since. So tonight you're going to get a chance to hear directly from President Rich Ray, and you're going to get a different take. My take is, burn it all down and see what's left at the end. But he's the guy that knows how to clean it up. So we're going to have him on to talk to you about, OWCP from your perspective, not just mine.
Yes.
So we're super happy about that. So we'll bring him on in a minute. But as she always says, we got to do some housekeeping things. Yeah. Are you going to be sharing some stuff?
We are going to be doing a lot of housekeeping, a little bit. Give us a couple minutes for the housekeeping. But don't forget, October, November, December, we are doing 2 share winners a month for a $100 gift card of your choice. So share, and also share. And if you tag people, and as many people as you tag, it counts as a share. So
tags and shares.
I'm going to go share. We're on YouTube tonight with Melissa Patterson from Roscoe, Federal Injury Centers of Roscoe. We got Dr. Autumn Burns on from...
Autumn, what's up, Dr. Burns?
Federal Injury Centers of Pinellas Park, Palm Harbor, Land O'Lakes, and St. Pete. She's all over the place. And I'm sure we'll have some more doctors. So
she's not shy at all. We'll bring her on sometime too.
Yeah, while I share, you share, and he'll do housekeeping.
Yeah, so we were just in Scottsdale, Arizona. We were able to do sort of a class and a back and forth for sure that got me in a little bit of a trouble with a bunch of work comp lawyers. I don't mind being in trouble with the work comp lawyers. In the end, we're all friends. But, they have a different perspective, too. You've all seen Eric Blowers. He's one of them.
He's one of them.
Yeah. So we were there doing an OWCP class with them on how to write narratives. It's interesting. They all know how to write narratives. So it was a little intimidating teaching a group of experts that could write the reports themselves, but it was still fun. Prior to that, we're in Birmingham at APW. The APW in Birmingham likes to invite us out, and I love to go because Birmingham is one of the purest, nicest places you can go in the whole country.
Yeah, we got Camise and Mr. Sunday.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Sunday was sitting right next to me the whole time.
Yeah.
And he towers over me. He's such a big guy.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a monster. But he's a nice guy. He's a nice monster. And prior to that, I was in Gilbert, Arizona. We did an open house. Gilbert's like 20, 30 minutes out of Phoenix, kind of southeast of Phoenix. But so if you're in that area, don't struggle with a denied claim. Go to the Gilbert, Arizona Federal Injury Centers. So with that said, tomorrow we're going to be in Orlando. We're doing a meet and greet on, what day is that meet and greet? Friday night.
Friday night from 6 to 9 at Yard House on International Drive, I-Drive.
And she's posted this already. She's going to post it again. If you're in Orlando, we'd love for you to come out. We really want to see you.
And the cool thing with this, you get to meet our Orlando doctor, our Melbourne, Tallahassee doctor, and our Miami doctor. They'll all be there with us. So if you have questions, if you're in any of those areas and want to talk to a doctor face-to-face, Friday is the day, Orlando.
That's right. And the reason we're going to be in Orlando in the first place to be able to do this is we're attending a doctors convention. And so we get invited. There are several groups of practice management groups that are sort of consultants to doctors. And we get invited out to these things. And so I'm going to be actually talking on, I don't even know what day. It could be right now. I could just start. It wouldn't matter. But I'm going to be talking to doctors, recruiting them to join us so that we have more doctors in areas where we don't have them already. This is also just something we do. We don't just teach here. We don't just go teach at union meetings. We don't just, train doctors. We also have to recruit doctors. Otherwise, there's nobody to train. So we're going to be doing that. in Orlando. But on Friday, please come out. We love to meet everyone in person. It really does make us happy to see you.
Real quick, we have Dr. Woywood in San Antonio, Federal Injury Centers of San Antonio on.
What's up, Woywood?
We have Bailey from Federal Injury Centers of Gulf Coast, Mississippi.
Gulfport,
Mississippi, with Jernigan Chiropractic.
That's right.
Who else? That's all so far. Okay.
Yeah, so these are some of our newer offices that are coming online. So if you're in Mississippi, obviously there's nobody else in the entire state. You either have a denied claim or you go to our office. So don't hurt yourself. Come to our office. So next week we're going to be in Virginia Beach. AFGE, the coal and mine workers, have asked us to come back. So we're doing a 3-hour class with that group in Virginia Beach. And we're going to be meeting Dr. Clark for the first time, who's our new doctor in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Exciting.
2 weeks from now, we're going to be in Sanford, which is kind of like Orlando, right?
Yeah, it's right outside of Orlando.
Because, again, APW has invited us out to teach their stewards. And we want to say thank you to their president, his name is Rob Rios. So we're really happy to go out. APW has been like a champ. Everywhere they go, they ask us to come teach. So we're really happy to do it. And the last housekeeping thing before I give you some good news is get the books. Get the books. BreakingOWCP.com. One of them is PDF only. The other two are still available on paperback until they're not anymore. And then they will be PDF because we want you to put it in your pocket. The only way to put it in your pocket is to download it to your phone and stick your phone in your pocket.
Yeah. So
go to BreakingOWCP.com. We're not finished. Hold on. One more thing.
I was looking at something.
Okay, so one more thing. This is important. We found out that from January through the end of September, okay, basically till October 1st, Federal Injury Centers doctors have gotten 879 claims approved. Now, does that sound good or good? Right? Yeah. So thank you to all the Federal Injury Centers doctors for going the extra mile and making it happen. They've been trained. They all use the same system, the same format, the same narrative report, the same wording. They do it because there's a science behind it, and we figured it out. Okay, so the thing that I teach them, they're using it. So 879 approved claims just this year in 9 months. All right, so we're going to hit 1,000 this year. So the question is, do you want to be next? I don't want you to get hurt, but I don't also want you to get hurt by the system after you're hurt. And that's what happens when your claim is denied. So listen, Federal Injury Centers gets claims approved. That's our thing. Everything else is like secondary. Number one is get claims approved. 879 claims in 9 months.
That's awesome.
So with that said, hold your excitement, but not your applause, because, hold on, I'm getting told I got to wait. What?
We got to wait. We have Federal Injury Centers of Maryland and Virginia on. We got Tim in the house.
What's up, Tim?
He said, I'm in the house.
Tim in the house.
We have Dr. Woywood said, by the way, Chris, a Maverick is a wild cow. Why do they have a horse on their jerseys? A wild horse is a Mustang.
All right. He lives in San Antonio, which is like the arch enemy of the Mavericks. So I'm going to let that one pass.
We got the new doctor that we were just talking about, Dr. Jonathan Clark. He's going to be in Virginia Beach. He's on right now. So if anybody's in the Virginia Beach area, reach out to him and get your appointment set.
Dr. Clark, let everybody know where you're at. You can post your number, your address. You can do anything you want there. He hasn't started training yet. So give the guy a break. All right. We're going to get him trained up so he gets your claims approved like everyone else.
We got Dr. Kammerer. He's also with Dr. Autumn Burns.
But that's a mouthful. Dr. K, what's up?
And okay. So we have a special guest tonight, guys.
3 specials?
Special times infinity.
So Rich Ray, president of Branch 99 NALC out of Staten Island, a good friend of mine, a good friend of ours, and a good friend of yours. So everyone give it up for Rich Ray. What's up, Rich?
Let's get some hearts,
guys. Thank you for having me.
This is like the greatest night of Wednesday Night Chats live. Having you on tonight. We're really happy to have you, Rich. Thank you.
Listen, man, I appreciate that welcome, but you guys are the best.
Thank you.
I just want to say quickly, I was listening in before you put me on. I just want everybody to understand they have to get these books. They're very, very important. All right. I always wanted to do that. Listen, Federal Injury Centers has been a lifesaver for my carriers, for all federal workers, but I only could speak for my carriers. When I met Chris, like you said, we met in 2020, early in the beginning of COVID, when we were all in confusion. So everything was in Zoom. We were all learning Zoom, and all these electronics, how we meet each other. Chris and Gini have been the best people I have ever met. Really, seriously, I mean that.
Thanks, Rich.
No one cares about injured federal employees more than Gini and Chris. I can tell you that right now. And their success sheet or cheat sheet, whatever you want to call it, all the claims they got approved throughout the years that I known them, it just speaks for itself. Bottom line. So thank you for having me, guys.
Wow, Rich, thanks so much.
Rich. That's so sweet.
So you were telling me a story when we first met that you were searching out information on work comp because you were frustrated with it, and you came across us. Can you just tell that story to everybody?
Yeah. I'm the branch president of Branch 99, Staten Island Letter Carriers for the NELC, and I could tell you this: following grievances are easy. Violations are easy. If management violates, we'll follow grievance. We'll win. The one thing where I felt that Branch 99 was weak in was OWCP, because I don't care how good of a union rep you are. If you don't have a doctor to write the narrative, to do the right thing by an injured employee, you're done. That's it. We just couldn't get over OWCP. That's where our weakness was. And so, I did a lot of research. We have a lot of great people in this union that know how to deal with OWCP. But again, none of us are MDs. Okay. We our narratives for grievances are not going to get your medical approved from OWCP. So I'm searching Google. I'm finding all the same stuff. I'm reading everything and whatever, old stuff, new stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I go on Facebook. I'm looking for a group page. We all have the NELC, Ask a Stewart. We have NELC, whatever. So I said, it's got to be something about OWCP on a Facebook page somewhere. So I typed in the search NELC, OWCP, and out of nowhere, Chris and Gini pop up. Now, at first I thought I was watching a recording, and I realized it was live. I was just lying in bed, and not gonna lie, no offense, Chris, but I saw Gini. She just, for a second, I was watching her for a little while.
I do that every day, Rich.
Then I started listening in, and Chris said something that night where he's got tons of videos of his previous Wednesday nights, and go check them out for every topic. And I did. And so I think I started becoming a regular. Every Wednesday night I was there. And then I just started chatting in the group. I was getting involved. I was, hoping, answering questions regarding union questions, steward questions, stuff that Chris and Gini really cannot. They could deal with the medical part, but there was some questions coming in about, what to do when you don't get paid COP, et cetera, et cetera. So I was getting involved that way. And then out of nowhere, I don't know exactly how it happened. Me and Chris started talking on the phone. And I said, Chris, listen, I would love you to do a Zoom meeting with my stewards one night. I think it was a Sunday night, Chris, right?
It was a Sunday night.
Yeah, it was a Sunday night. And he's right. We were going to start at 8:00. Then something happened, and then we pushed it up to 9. I don't know if it was his side, my side, but we started at 9, and we were on there for about 12:30. I think it was GD that said, "All right, that's it." Me and Chris would have went on all night. I think our stewards were falling asleep too. We just had a really, really good time. Chris is 100% correct. I look at Chris as the union representative of OWCP when it comes to medical doctors. He's the shop steward of the doctors. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean it that He's there to make sure everything gets done right. He's got the answers, and he's got the right people. He lined up the right people for us. And I'm just gonna go into this because I love to talk. So Chris, please cut me off anytime.
No, you're good. This is why we have you here. We want to hear from you.
But this is the thing. When I first started talking to Chris, this was during the time that I had three letter carriers that were homeless because they got injured on the job. Okay. They literally couldn't work. They excuse me, I get a little bit choked up with this because, no one should be punished for getting hurt on his job. And that's what happens.
And Rich, let me interrupt because you told me, you said, Chris, I'm tired of seeing my carriers go homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich, it's the most profound thing anybody's ever said to me. I've never forgotten it, and I've said it 1,000 times since.
Yeah, listen, I begged you. I says, please get me doctors in New York. Just get them. I don't care where you put them, but get them in New York. And sure enough, he promised me and he made it happen. I got to tell you something. It's a good feeling knowing that, listen, you could go anywhere you want to go. No one's telling you where to go. Okay.
Yep.
That's the bottom line. But I will tell you, if you want good treatment, you want expertise, and you want to get an approved claim, you got to try out federal injury centers. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to. Okay. But let me tell you something. So far, we're 11 for 11, Chris? Maybe 12 for 12.
Yeah.
I'm actually starting to lose count now. And there was one incident, matter of fact, 2 incidents where we had a disapproved claim, and I sent it over to Chris, and Chris looked it over. He says, no. No, this is not going to happen. He contacted the doctors. He said what went wrong, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Not even 3 weeks in that second appeal, we got an approved claim. Look, I'm dealing with a carrier right now that management is trying to separate them because they did not have an on-the-job injury because they have a disapproved claim. And we got them approved, and now they can't fire them.
That's right.
So let me tell you something. It's a weight lifted off my back because when Chris met me, I couldn't talk about this without stopping and pausing. And now I could talk about it like I'm confident that we got people to send you to. You got a great MBA office here in New York, Region 15, the best regions in the country. I know some people can argue with me with that because we have some great MBA offices out there, but Region 15 is the best. You got great branches out here, but what we needed was doctors, and that's what Federal Injury Centers has provided to my membership and to all NELC members in New York and in New Jersey. And I got to tell you, Chris, Gini, I don't know how to thank you, honestly, because it's just a blessing to know that whenever I have someone that's in trouble regarding getting their claims approved, we got somewhere we can send them, and, it's a great feeling. So that's my story.
Well, you don't know what's a thank you for sure. I mean, just being friends is a nice thanks.
is
and
we're thankful enough.
We really appreciate that. So let me tell you something. So you were telling me before this, we talked a little bit, so everybody just kind of knows the inside. And Rich, you said something that I wrote down. You said that the system is broken. So your carriers, and not just your carriers, the clerks, the mail handlers, the rural carriers, and everybody in AFGE, at the VA, the TSA, the base employees, everybody, right?
Right.
We're all dealing with the same broken system. And so, look, forget federal injury centers just for a second. I mean, you found the office there. We found each other. We've been able to help.
Right.
But prior to that, that broken system was breaking people. And so I think what I'd like you to tell people is like, what was the experience before? The broken people from OWCP, what was happening? Because everyone else around the country, by the way, there are still 25 states, 26 states that don't have a federal injury centers office.
Wow.
So somebody in Idaho or Iowa or South Dakota, they're watching right now going, man, I wish I had this. And they're dealing with everything you're about to say. So talk about that broken system. What's happening?
Well, that used to be us at one time. Yeah. Yeah, look, I can tell you right now what an injury in the post office is devastating because most postal employees do live paycheck to paycheck. Let's be honest here. We don't make
Sure.
a lot of money. We do make enough to make a living and put food on the table. But one hiccup in one paycheck could set us back for months, especially with late fees, etc. I could tell you before federal injury centers in New York City, um, phew, we had carriers getting thrown out on the street. Um, we had uh, mothers that were actually losing custody of their kids because they weren't providing food for the child because they weren't getting paid, and whatever the divorce settlements were or whatever. It destroyed a lot of lives. And I could tell you what, I have carriers that actually forced themselves to work with an injury because they were afraid to put in a claim because they couldn't afford to lose a penny. And they wind up having injuries that you can't fix now. That's it. It's chronic. It's there.
Yeah.
I got someone with he limps forever. No matter what he does, he limps, and the older he gets, it's worse. I have another union rep that has a back issue that it was an injury on the job, but he couldn't afford to do workman's comp because he has a family he had to support, and now he deals with this for the rest of he retired, and now there's times he can't even sleep at night. He can't lay down without having back issues. So I don't know if I'm painting the picture the way I did in the beginning, Chris, but I could tell you what, it was we were defeated when you got injured. We were defeated before we even put our name on a CA1. And a lot of us didn't do that because of that reason. Unless we had no, obviously if you broke your arm, you gotta
Right.
do you gotta do. But even with let me just say something. Before federal injury centers. Now I'm not trying to encourage everybody to go to federal injury centers. This is not what this is about, but let's just call for
Yeah,
what
go wherever you want to go.
yeah, we're talking about approved claims now, right?
Yeah.
So let's go where I don't care if it's our worst enemy getting our claims approved. You're going there,
Get them approved.
but, right? That's it. But let me just put it this way. I actually lost my train of thought. I even with the black and white that like we had a carrier that got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Literally, the car jumped the stop sign, it's on camera, everything. Do you know because of their doctor refused to fill out CA-17, that carrier got disapproved, and that doctor refused to do a narrative without charging $2,500 that we couldn't get this carrier approved, and there was no other federal, no doctor that took federal comp that we could get this person to get this claim approved. And this went on for 2 years. Think about that, 2 years.
Most people can't make it that long.
No, you can't. And thankfully, this particular person was young enough. They were living at home still. They had no family. So they were able to, tough it out. But I can tell you what, if this was me,
yeah,
we would have been in the poorhouse. I got to be honest with you. So I understand what you're all going through, and Chris understands it. And we're trying to fix this on a nationwide. We're trying to fix it. But again, it's a doctor issue 95% of the time, in my opinion. Management's the easy part. I don't want to be disrespectful, but management's the easy part. We have a contract, and if they violate the contract, we'll file the grievance. It'll have merit. We'll be able to get, the grievance heard, and et cetera, et cetera. But OWCP don't care about what your grievance is with your employer. They just want to see they want to see the narratives, right, Chris? Whatever they need, which I think it's unfair. We could debate that. That's another debate for another day. I think it's unfair how federal workman's comp works compared to New York State, the city. But it is what it is. This is the law. We didn't
Yeah.
correct this law. So this is what we deal with. And you know what, Gini, Chris, this was a friendship where were you guys 15 years ago? That's all I can tell you.
I was doing it, but I was doing it someplace else. I wasn't doing it like this. And,
I think COVID, as much as COVID was a dark time in our lives. I mean, I don't know if any of us ever went through that twilight zone before. I grew up in the 90s when school shootings started, and every one school shooting was a nightmare after another. But COVID, there's nothing to compare to 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
But the one good thing that came out of 2020 and 2021, we found ways of connecting nationwide that we never did before, like Wednesday night OWCP chats and Zooms and broadcast and YouTube teaching, et cetera, et cetera. And then I discovered the Zoom meeting, the general meeting. I do it through Zoom even now because I get more people than I would in person.
Oh, you have great participation in your Zoom meetings.
Listen, I wished I had more. I'm never satisfied. I always want more. And I want to tell you all something. You got to remember something, because I deal with this all the time. The OWCP part is not an NALC issue. It's OWCP and your doctor. Yeah. NALC gives you guidance, but NALC cannot write the narrative for you. And for me, the marriage between me, Gini, and Chris is that what I needed, that road, that bridge to the doctors, and look, if you got a legitimate injury, the bottom line is you could get approved. We got people we could send you to. And that's all I got to say. It's been a challenge, but I'm not going to lie to you. 2020, considering it was a dark time for all of us, depending what part of it, but Gini and Chris was definitely a blessing through all that. So, that was the positive for me. We found friendship, right? A new family. Yes, we did.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Rich, you're such a nice guy. You're like the nicest guy in New York for sure. 100%. There's no question about it. So I doubt you're very nice when you're going into like a grievance hearing or something. You're probably not the nicest guy in New York there.
You know what? I gotta be honest with you. I kind of like management when I deal with them one-on-one, because there are people in the end of the day, and then a lot of them are being told what to do, and a lot of them haven't been trained. I kind of feel sorry for them sometimes, because NALC trains their union reps. They get us prepared for everything. I actually know more about the operations of the United States Postal Service than some of the management that's actually in the position to protect. And I'm trying to jointly work with my counterparts, because, in the end of the day, if you don't work with management, who gets hurt? Not me, not them, the people in the middle. And we got to try to find a way to jointly take care of these things. And there's a professional way, and there's a non-professional way. And I'm professional. I try to tell my stewards, don't fight. Don't get emotionally attached. Listen, show it to them. Okay, this is Article 8. This is what it says. This is what you're doing. This is what's going to happen. What are you going to do? Yeah. All right. Then you want the grievance, we'll give the grievance. Try to fix it before it happens. And, it's no need to fight. We don't have to be enemies. And I will like to believe that some of my management feels the same way. I like to believe that. Sometimes their actions don't show that. But in the end of the day, we need each other to survive, right? Post office has got to survive, and we need both sides to get on board. But by saying that, now, let me just be clear now. If they violate the contract, I'm filing a grievance. That's it. Like it or not, So
So you said something there that it kind of struck me a little different. That both sides need each other, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that same way. us and our doctors.
Yeah.
We need you and your unions, right? We need you. We need
Yeah.
APW. We need the mail handlers, the rural carriers. We need all the unions, right?
Right.
I tell and I train our staff. In fact, we were in Orlando a few weeks ago at an in-person training at a doctor's office, right? And the case manager, because we train case managers in every office, she said, Chris, I hear your voice when I'm going to sleep. Because they're all required to watch all my videos, right? And then she said, in fact, it's our thing in the office that anything that goes wrong, we say file a grievance, right? Because they've heard me say it so many times, file a grievance. Well, that's the point. I tell the patients that come to us that there's a line. This line right here is on this side of the line is my domain. On that side of the line is Rich's domain. And right now, I'm telling you, go talk to Rich or go talk to whoever, right? This is a union issue. Go file a grievance, go file an EEO claim, whatever, labor board charge, go to the union. So we need each other.
Yes.
So I've got a couple of quotes that I say. The first one that I ever wrote down, I never forgot it, that federal employees make this country go. When they break, we have to fix them.
Right.
But you said the other thing about the system. And so I actually have another quote on that the pain of the system should not be worse than the pain of the injury itself.
I agree.
But it is worse. The pain of the system is worse than the injury. And so when we're all together on this, me and my doctors and you and your unions, I'm grouping you with all the unions together. Tonight,
yeah.
And but we all need each other. We all need to be together on the same page, working in the same direction for the same people, right?
Right.
So it's just such a blessing to have somebody like you. And I met all your folks. You brought them to the office at night. I mean, you've got a great group of people up there.
I appreciate you saying that because I love them.
Well, it's clear they love you back. I mean, and you know what? I say this all the time. There's no substitute for love. Love everybody.
Right.
And you do that. It's obvious you do it, and it works. And anyways, that was just like I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
No. Well, look, I'm a firm believer that everyone deserves a chance, and everyone deserves to have a mistake because we learn by them.
Yeah.
I tell my stewards all the time, especially the new ones. Look, you're not going to master this overnight. It's going to be
years to master it.
Yeah. It's going to be a mistake. Look, I still make mistakes now, but look, this is the bottom line. If anyone says they're perfect, that's the person I'm afraid of because that's the person that's not going to ask for help. Now I know I got people I rely on. I don't know everything. I got a guy that I rely on for discipline. I got a guy to rely on for certain parts of the contract. I got a guy that it masters the letter of demand, so I go to him. This is not all about me. See, where everyone seems to fail to realize is the union starts with a you, right? Yep. It's there for a reason because it's you that's the union. The union's only as strong as the membership in it. So you could have a Richie Ray, but you have 500 people with Richie Ray that don't give a shit. Yeah. And Richie Ray is nothing, Right. Richie Ray is only strong by his membership that's with him and stands by him. I'll stand in front of you. I'll block the punches for you, but I need you to stand next to me as well. I don't need you to run away and, give a statement, et cetera, et cetera. You know why I became a shop steward, Chris?
Why?
I started, the reason why I'm laughing is because I know if anyone's watching in my circle, they're going to be, oh, Trenton again. I started Trenton, New Jersey as a city carrier, and I transferred to Staten Island. And I says, you know what? I'm going to go to Staten Island. I learned everything about the union, all the rights, the contract, the this, the that. And I'm just going to go to Staten Island, worry about myself, and come to work, go home, not deal with all the nonsense and blah, blah, blah. So one day I'm sitting there, I'm casing my route, and this is in 2006. I'm casing my route, and one of the carriers across the aisle hurt his back. And I'll never forget it. He went up to the desk, and he said to the boss, listen, something's really wrong with my back. Every time I move my shoulder up, I'm getting this stick, like this sharp pain, and I can't even breathe when I pick up my arm. Like it's, I need to go see a doctor. Oh, go over there and move around a little bit. See if you could, walk it off.
The boss was using his medical license at that point.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm still casing my mail. And I'm like, all right, let's see what happens here, So the boss goes up to this carrier by his case. And he gets in this carrier's face and he's going, oh, so what? You're a girl now. You can't do this. You can't do that. And I'm not going to lie to you.
He used girl as an insult.
I'm boiling. My heart. I felt my chest burning up. I was getting angry by the second. But you know what was angering me? It wasn't the supervisor doing what he was doing. It was all the senior carriers that were around this guy.
Letting it
and
happen.
No one was saying shit. Okay. So I finally turn around and I go to this guy. You're going to give him a CA1 or this is going to happen. That's going to happen. The guy turned around and told me to mind my business. I'll get out of the building. I go, look, I'll get out of the building after you give this gentleman the CA1 and you fill it out and I'm going to watch this. And we went at it for a little while. And sure enough, the shop steward finally came over from the other side of the building. I didn't know who he was. I was new in the station. I told the shop steward what was going on. Shop steward handled it. Got this guy taken care of. Of course, I got PDI'd for disrupting the workroom floor. I got written up. For conduct unbecoming. So I wrote a statement. And sure enough, because I stood up, another senior carrier who was not in the union at that time says, you know what? I appreciate what you did. I'm going to give you a statement to back you up because what you did for him was amazing. I should have done that. I was so embarrassed that it took someone who doesn't even know somebody to stand up for them, right? So he gave a statement and we knocked out that letter of warning. It was expunged from my record. Then I started getting involved with the union, okay? And then that individual who was in the union got into the union. It's really important that we stand up for each other. Now, listen, I'm not telling you go scream at your supervisors. Please don't do that. All right.
Yeah, that's only going to cause more trouble.
Yeah. There's a smart way and there's a stupid way, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that's how I got involved with Branch 99. And I started going to the meetings and then out of nowhere, I'm writing grievances. And I got to tell you, that wasn't the plan, ladies and gentlemen. And here I am, president of Branch 99. And I got to tell you, I think there's a lot more people out there in this branch that are better doing what I'm doing that could probably do this better. All I care about is my carriers having dignity and respect on the workroom floor and be treated properly and the contract being enforced. That's all I care about. But OWCP is a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? Chris is working really hard. I know he is. Gini scouts. We scout for doctors all the time. We got to get doctors that want to do this, right, Chris? That's the challenge. That's number one.
That is.
And when you do get doctors to say they want to do this, now the challenge is to make sure that they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing too.
Yeah.
This country is a big country, and the post office is a big organization. We're in every zip code, so it's not easy. But what I can tell you is guidance. You need guidance, and if you don't get that in your branch, for any reason, God forbid, you don't get that in your branch, it's got to start somewhere. Step up. Do what I did. Step up. That's it. Go learn. Pick up the book. Go on NELC.org. Learn the contract. Learn the ELM. Learn the M41, the M39. Listen to the service talks that they give. Believe it or not, you'd be surprised in those service talks. You're going to hear something like, wait a minute. They just said that, but they never follow that. But they just said that in the service talk. Can I get a copy of that service talk, please? And put it in your locker. Just get involved. Bottom line is, that's what I got to say. But this is not about the union. This is about OWCP.
No. Hey, actually, I'm really appreciative that you said that stuff because I couldn't agree more. The get involved part, especially.
Yeah.
So my message lately has been to everyone else to get involved. When I go to an open house, I do a talk every time I do an open house at a doctor's office, right? And every time the theme is, especially lately, is, help someone else. Tell someone else. Imagine, Rich, if you and I never found each other. I mean, that would be a disaster. It would be a disaster. Look, I wouldn't have anybody to help, and your folks wouldn't be getting the help.
No.
So everyone has a responsibility to tell somebody else. Everyone should go to work tomorrow, identify the person struggling because of a physical injury or whatever. It could be emotional, and say, there's help for you. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to be homeless. No. Doesn't have to happen to you. And the other thing is, like, not every union rep and president is strong like you. That's just a fact. We get people all the time and complaining that my union won't help me or whatever. And I always say, look, you've got to step up, ask for help, go to the next level, do whatever it takes, help yourself, right? So I want to end with this. What do you tell people that say, I'm not getting the help I need? What should they do next when they feel like they're not getting help? And this is any union. This is not a reflection of NALC or the rural cares or clerks, nothing like that. Just what's your advice to someone who says, I'm not getting the help I need?
Well, look, and I hate to say this, there's a lot out there, and some would say in my branch we have that same problem in the stations without shop stewards. But this is what I tell what you need to do. Okay, go to your shop steward first. If you feel you're not getting anywhere, please don't badmouth them. Please don't come to conclusions, because the one thing that I do realize that I lack of is that I'll follow the grievance, but I don't follow up with the grievant to let them know what I just did. Right. Because I'm moving on to the next case already. Everything is like a factory here, We're moving on to the next case, the next case, the next case. Sometimes you forget to call somebody and follow up with them and say, hey, listen, Richie, your grievance was just filed. We're at step 2 of the process. We're dealing with this. We're appealing it to step 3, et cetera, et cetera. So sometimes I do lack of that. So some people would think that we're not doing nothing. So have a conversation with your shop steward first. Find out what's going on. Okay? Don't assume. Everyone assumes, right?
Right.
I'm in a building and something could happen on the other side of the building. But if I'm dealing with A, B, and C, I'm not paying attention to D, E, F. You got to let me know that happened. Okay? Yeah. In order for me to do something about it. Don't just assume because I'm there, I'm going to see it happen. Bring it to my attention. But now, if you feel like you're hitting a dead end with the steward, go to your branch. Call your branch, all right? It should be on the bulletin board. It should be on, look, everything's on Google now, everybody. There's no, look, the phone numbers are everywhere. I can't understand how people say, I didn't see no number. My cell number and this union office's phone number is on every bulletin board in every station on Staten Island, and I still got people say, I didn't know. I didn't know. I mean, there's a bulletin board. Let's stop playing stupid now. Call your branch, talk to a branch officer. Again, if you feel like you're getting nowhere, go on NELC.org, which is our national website. Go to contact information. You could get in contact with any NBA office, or you could get in touch with National. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Okay, you don't leave a message, you ain't getting a call back. And don't, I get about 85 missed calls a day. You know how many messages I get a day? 4.
2.
4. Yeah, 4. You were close. Okay. Bottom line is that if you don't leave a message, you ain't getting a call back. That's just it, because obviously it wasn't that important for you not to leave a message. Okay. If you do call the MBA office, you leave a message, you don't get a call back within the next 2 or 3 days. Okay, let's be real. The MBA office is dealing with a region. Just think about that for a second. Maybe out of sight, out of mind. Maybe they did forget. Maybe the message fell underneath another piece of paper. Let's give our people the benefit of the doubt. Just like we all have busy lives, we forget things. Call again.
Yeah.
Be aggressive. Don't take "I'll call you back" as an answer. If this is your third time calling and no one's calling you back within a week or so, look, this is an emergency. I need assistance now. And they will listen to you, and they will get someone on the phone. That don't work, then you call National, and I wouldn't give up, because in the end of the day, guys, you pay your union dues, and that's what it's there for. But I promise you, and I will vouch for this because, I believe in it because my union dues pays for this. The union representatives at the national level, at the region level, and even in most branch levels, they do give a shit. But remember something. You got to give a chance. You got to give a moment. You got to give someone a minute to investigate, to find out the facts and et cetera, et cetera. We will deal with it. But I think that would be the best way. And for places where there's no stewards, okay, we need stewards in those places. We don't appoint stewards.
Yeah.
It's they volunteer. So
Right.
when the elections come up and no one puts their name up there, that's why you don't have a steward there. It's not like the union says, "Oh, we're not going to elect a steward in Station 1." No one's running and no one's getting involved. So we need people that care. And all I can tell you is you got to love your people if you're going to be a union representative. You can't just be a union representative for the title. Love your people. If you don't love your people,
Get
then
out of the
don't be
way.
a union rep. Bottom line. It's not good. Gini loves what they're doing. That's why they're so successful. With their knowledge, they could do so many other things than worry about this. And they care this much. You got to love your people to be successful. So that's all I could say. If you don't love your people, then you have no business being a union rep. That's the reality. I don't want to hear it. You got to love them, good or bad.
Yeah.
You're in the perfect spot at the right time.
Well, Chris, look, I got to tell you, the post office is falling apart in so many ways. So many different rules are coming out. Changes are coming. Some of them are legit changes. We have to get with the times. I get that. And there's ways of implementing things. And honestly, I wished I could go back 30 years ago and start then. I really wished. But you know what? I'm here. I'm prepared. I'm ready. And the NELC has trained me and they continue training me. And, we're ready to go. And I'm preparing my younger generation to take over for me. And hopefully somebody's going to want this position. And I get to relax a little bit. But the bottom line is I'm here for my membership. I'm here for the NELC. And listen, I'm on Wednesday night chats when it's not my meeting. Unfortunately, my meeting nights are on Wednesday nights
Wednesday
too.
nights, right? Yeah.
But I do come on time to time. You could inbox me anytime, ask for assistance, NELC only, because I can't help out anybody outside the NELC. I'll help you as much as I could. I'll do the best I can, and I could guide you to the right people. Just don't lose faith in the union, please, because the union's all we got. And, you're not going to always like the results, but there was, someone said something to me once when I first started this. The contract might be morally wrong, but it's contractually right.
Yep.
And when I said, wow, that makes sense, because you cannot have Article 55, Section 1, Richie Ray is allowed to do this, and Section 2, Chris Holmes is allowed to do that. We all have to be equal.
Yep.
So there's things in the contract that we might not like, but it's there for a reason. Do not sacrifice our provisions of our contract for deals, please. That comes back and bites us in the ass in the long run. So
yeah,
that's
man.
what I say about that.
Well, Rich, we're gonna have to run here, but I want to say I could not be more grateful than I am tonight to have you on. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
We were going to do this a few weeks ago, but it didn't work out. So here we are. And I think everyone is better because they got to hear you tonight. One of the themes you just got done talking about is something I say all the time. And this is the way I say it. If you're at a red light, what are you going to do if it doesn't turn green? You're going to run the damn light. If you're not getting help, what are you going to do? Call again, call again, call again. Raise as much help. Talk to as many people. Do whatever it takes to get the help. The other thing I heard you say is being a steward is a volunteer job. Everyone can volunteer. Right? Everyone can step up. And so I like that too. I particularly like that one. But listen, man, like having you doing what you're doing with me doing what I'm doing is so nice. I get to ask you, like Rich is one of my, like, as far as advisors go, if I got a question about the union, you're my first call, and I really appreciate that. And I know that's the other way around, Rich. You call me all the time, or you email me, whatever.
Absolutely.
We help each other.
Oh,
And
you
so
more than you call me.
well, and this is what we need.
Right.
You know, we need the unions and the doctors, or in this case, me. We need to all be dealing with each other because we're all trying to meet the same goal: is to help your people. So,
Listen,
you
this
know,
is what I say. This is what I say. Let's just cut out all the bullshit.
oh yeah, absolutely.
And bottom line is, let's do this together. And the day that someone fails or shows that they're not worthy, then they're not worthy. It's
Yeah, then they're out.
simple. That's
right.
it. You know, enough. But Chris, I want to say something to you, both of you. You guys are a blessing to Staten Island. I'm not going to lie
Thanks,
to you.
Rich.
No,
you.
seriously, I mean it. That night in Manhattan, you know, when you asked me to talk, wasn't expecting that.
I do that sometimes.
It was hard for me to choke back the tears because it's really important that my people do not go homeless for getting injured. And
That's right.
it's bad enough that we got to deal with poor management in most places. It's no reason why, like you said, dealing with OWCP should not hurt more than being injured. And,
That's right.
And that's what's happening. So
Well, like you
I
said,
appreciate
Rich.
both of you, and I love you guys.
Well, we love you
We
too.
love you too, Rich.
And that bugs me that you said it first because I was gonna beat you to it. So I just want to say, and we're going to end with this. So in Staten Island, you said it. You're 12 for 12. That means 12 people have gone to the Manhattan office.
Right.
12 people have gotten claims approved, and that's our experience around the country. We get denied claims too. It happens to everybody. But where we're different is the other doctors who get denied claims throw their hands up and say, well, "That's it. I'm not doing this again."
Right.
When we get a denied claim, we say, "Oh, really? So you want to do it like that?" And we go again, and we keep going again, and keep going again, and we never quit.
Right.
It's a perpetual red light that we continue to run. We're never going to sit there. And so we're grateful that you've trusted us. And I hope that everyone around the country will see your interview tonight and say, okay, we're going to trust them too, because a denied claim freaking sucks.
Yeah.
Well, can I say one more thing?
Please do.
With the denied claim, we keep on doing it and doing it and doing it. I want you guys to understand something. Federal injury centers take $0 from our injured employees.
Never.
If
Yeah,
you
right.
have an approved claim, then they get paid. If you do not have an approved claim, they're not taking it out of your pocket. There's no more $2,500 fee for a narrative or a $5,000 fee, which I don't understand. And then I had a person that paid $1,500 once for a paragraph. Okay.
It probably got denied.
And it did get denied. So
Sure.
my point is, so you know what? What's there to look? I'm not here to say NLC is endorsing anyone. Richie Ray is endorsing Federal Injury Center, okay? Because I have seen results, positive results. Once I see negative results, Chris will agree with me, then we're not going there no more because Chris said it right. I have zero tolerance for denied claims.
That's right.
Bottom line. So please, what do you get to lose at this point? I mean, we're losing anyway, right? So they're not taking $1 from you. And, you know, I don't know if I said too much here, but that is the truth. And
No,
let's be
you're good.
real. You want to approve claims. So, you know, help out yourselves too. Remember, we
That's right.
did have 2 people that got denied, but they got denied because they never checked out their e-comp and never opened up their mail. And their denial letter came and they never saw the development letter.
Yeah.
So we can't, you know, you got to help yourself too, guys. You know,
That's right.
we all have a piece here if we want to succeed. So,
Rich,
it.
you are a good man, and the people of Staten Island are better because you're there.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much for being on tonight.
And I know you said it,
having
but
me.
let me say it again. Seriously, we love you, man.
Yeah.
All the
do.
way.
You too, man. I do. Seriously. God
Well,
bless you.
Thanks for letting us be in the fight with you, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We'll see
All
you
right.
All right, we're gonna have you
again.
again, buddy. Have a good night.
All right, brother. All right.
See you,
Bye,
Rich.
Gini.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys.
That's it. If I had a mic, I'd drop it. You can't do better than that. I mean, Rich Ray. It gives me chills. The hair standing up on my arms just with the stuff he said. I hope everyone really heard it. Don't sit at the red light. You know, you're getting hurt by the system, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
And Rich is right. You can go to any doctor you want. In fact, I say it all the time. Like, I'm wearing this logo on my shirt, but I tell you, if you love your doctor, stay there. Please don't change to my doctors. We give you doctors because you need it. If you've got one already, you're all set.
Right.
But yeah,
So now,
go ahead. I was just gonna say Rich's name like for the rest of the night. I'm gonna dream Rich tonight.
So to tie what he's saying in, we know we told you guys we're going to talk about CA1s, CA2s, and CA2As because a lot of you are getting confused with that. So grab a piece of paper and a pen, and let's get started.
Wait, I got to teach stuff?
Now you got to teach stuff. You already had Rich on there.
But all they need was what he said.
That was a great interview by Rich Ray. We're so thankful.
Oh, man, that was so awesome.
Yeah. So let's start off with a CA1.
Well, before I start off, I just want to, we called out the other doctors. Dr. Snowden was on tonight from Oklahoma City. And Doc, I saw you, but, we were talking to Rich. Dr. Snowden is one of our newest doctors.
Yes.
He's in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And he is, fired up as he is. He's a winner. This guy, I've talked to him a few times. He's a winner. And we don't say yes. Believe it or not, we don't say yes to every doctor that wants to join us. 100 doctors say no for everyone we want to join. But when I talked to Dr. Snowden, my thought was, holy crap, let's get this show on the road because this guy's a winner. So look him up. He's listed in our locations tab at federalinjurycenters.com in Oklahoma City. So just scroll down to Oklahoma and seriously give him a call. I know there's a lot of people in Oklahoma that need help. And he's your guy. This guy is relentless. You're going to get your claims approved there. So thanks for being on, Dr. Snowden. We really appreciate it. These doctors come on because they care about what you think. They want to see what you're saying, and they want to interact with you. So thanks for, interacting with them.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to pretend we're starting all over again. This is the second half of tonight.
Oh, we're starting second hour of Wednesday Night Chats.
CA1s, CA2s, CA2As. Don't forget to share. This is going to be really important. And don't forget, if you share, you can win a gift card for $100 for as many people as you want to share or tag. Each name you tag, it counts as a share. So let's start with CA1s. What is a CA1?
I don't have any idea.
Oh, you better figure it out.
So, all right. So there are only 2 ways to report an injury as a federal employee. And that's actually refreshing because it's the one thing that's just not complicated. There's only 2 things to do. You either fill out a CA1 or you fill out a CA2. And that depends on how you got hurt. And now with eComp, you can do everything electronically and your supervisor can't stop it. In the past, the supervisor would say, nah, you don't need to do that. You're not hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, now they can't say any of that. You just go online to ecomp.dol.gov and you fill out your forms right there. So the CA1 and CA2 are the 2 ways to report a work injury as a federal employee. The one, CA1, is for something that happens in a single shift. You stepped out of your vehicle and twisted your knee. You stepped in a hole and twisted your ankle. You got a dog bite. You picked up a box and felt a pain in your back. That all happened right now. That's a CA1. It happened today in this shift. A CA2 happens over a longer period of time, 2 or more days, weeks, months, years, whatever. And that is like repetitive trauma, carpal tunnel syndrome, tendinitis. So those are 2 things that come to mind right away. They develop over time. So you go to ecomp.dol.gov and you fill out the form, CA1 or CA2. From there, your supervisor gets an email that tells them they have to fill out their portion of the CA1 or CA2. Now, in the olden days, they didn't want to do that. And they would even accidentally get your CA1 form lost in the trash can.
Yep, we've heard that.
Well, now it can't get lost in the trash can. It's on an email, and it's at ecomp.dol.gov, and the claims examiners also know it. So supervisors have 10 days from the date they have this to fill out to give it to the claims examiner. In other words, to submit it electronically. And when they don't submit it within 10 days, there's a record of their submission. So they actually there's like a paper trail, an electronic paper trail that will penalize them for doing the wrong job. So you can also look at it and go, oh, look, this thing was filed 12 days. I'm going to file a grievance. File a damn grievance. Okay. Make it stop. Don't let them continue to bully you, to prevent you from getting help. Okay. So file a damn grievance. A CA1 is for anything that happens in a single shift. Now, your supervisor is going to go on the second page and most likely say some crap about you. They have like 4 boxes that they can say something about you. Don't get worried about that, because their nonsense gets overruled by the doctor, because when the doctor writes a narrative, it buries the supervisor's comments. It's like they have no power whatsoever. So that's great. On a CA2, supervisor doesn't have anything bad to say, so we ignore them. They just have to do their part. But once you fill out a CA1 or CA2, there's another thing you have to do. You have to find a doctor, because as Rich just said, you got to have a doctor to get a claim accepted. You can have great MBAs, for the NALC. You can have great, OWCP representatives in the unions, and most of the unions have great OWCP representatives. But without a doctor's medical opinion, what are they going to get done? Because those union reps don't have medical licenses, much less medical opinions. Just like myself, I don't have a medical license or medical opinion, but I have doctors. So that's what you need. So once you fill out your CA1 or 2, you got to go straight to the doctor and take all that stuff with you. But if you go to, your family doctor, your family chiropractor, or you do what your coworkers are saying, go to an orthopedic surgeon for your sprained ankle that's not surgical, you're going to get your claim denied. My family practice doctor, I love my family doctor. Even my kids go there, not going to get your claim accepted, denied. I work at the VA. They told me I have to go to a VA doctor, denied. You got to find an OWCP trained doctor. And there's not that many, unfortunately. You can go to OWCP's provider finder, and you'll just get frustrated because most of them don't know what OWCP is and can't spell DOL. So they don't even know they're listed there, most of them. And the ones that are doing a terrible job getting your claims denied.
Yeah.
So you got to find a doctor that can get your claim accepted. So the CA1 and 2 are single shift or multiple shifts. You fill those out so you can get help. Now, a CA2A is a different thing. That's for a claim that was already approved. It could have been a CA1 or a CA2. It was approved at some point, and then it resolved, or it was closed, or you hit MMI or something like that, right? You're done. And then later on, you have a flare-up. Well, that's what a 2A is for. CA2A is a notice of recurrence. And a notice of recurrence, all right, so excuse her getting up. Gizmo's digging to get out of the room now, so we just pick him up. 7 in your lap. He doesn't need to go up. Put the OWCP mascot in your lap. So a CA2A is it's a notice of recurrence. It's like something came back. But here's what happens to people. Their supervisors say, oh, you had a knee injury before. Your knee hurts again. It's a recurrence. Fill out a 2A. Well, like 40% of 2As are denied right away. Why would you do something that has a 40% denial rate? I wouldn't. So instead, what we do is we go back to the doctor. And when I say we, I mean you. Go to your doctor and say, hey, doc, I know I had a knee injury before. My knee's hurting again. Is it the same injury or is it something new? After your doctor's evaluation, then decide if it's a 2A. Okay. If it's not a recurrence, you fill out a new CA1 or a new CA2, and it just depends on how it happened. But before you can file anything, you need to know, is it a recurrence or not? And if it is, fill out your 2A, because it is what it is. But don't automatically fill out a CA2A because your supervisor said so, because they're idiots. And, they probably know they're idiots, and they go home at night and they try to go to bed and they're trying to go to sleep, and they just they're having a hard time falling asleep because they're haunted by the idea that they're dummies. And they know that when they told you to fill out a notice of recurrence, that might have been them being a dummy. But you don't be a dummy. Go to your doctor and get the answer, and then do the right thing. CA1, 2, or 2A. It is what it is. In all cases, when you do the very right thing every time, your claims chances of getting approved go way up.
Yeah. And if you're planning on retiring, please make sure you file your claims before you retire. I got a message the other day asking if they've been retired for 1.5 years, and now they realize they had an injury from work. It's too late.
Yeah, don't file your injuries after you retire, because some claims examiner is going to say, nah, you did that after retirement. You were probably on vacation.
Yeah.
So just do it before, even if it's a day before. But remember, you have 3 years to report injuries. So, if you wait 3 years and 1 day, it's over.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to do that, especially if you retire.
And yes, it is 3 years.
So don't, yeah. And, okay. So that's all I have to say about CA1, 2, and 2A. But because she said that, this is bonus material. If your supervisor says something, and I disagree with what your supervisor said, and then you do what your supervisor said anyways, you did that.
Yeah, not us.
That was you. So at all times, if you say, no, that's not what my supervisor said, I'm going to do what they said to do, that's going to hurt you. Your supervisors are not working in your best interest most of the time. Some of them do, okay, but not always. I mean, I told you the story once about the sister who gave her sister a hard time after the sister was hurt and the other sister was a supervisor. Look, there are no limitations sometimes to what they'll do to hurt you. So if I tell you to do something and you don't do it, just remember when you come back that I told you so.
Yep.
Because we hear this all the time. Well, my supervisor said. I don't care what your supervisor said. They're idiots. And if they were, I'm going to leave it there. They can be idiots at times, most of them. So just be careful with that. When in doubt, default to whatever it is I tell you to do.
Yeah.
So what do we got? Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we have tons of questions. All right. Thomas Sullivan. He said, felt a sharp pain in my shoulder while delivering mail last Friday, and pain has just gotten worse. Will that be a CA1 or a CA2? Well,
I don't know, Thomas. You said you felt a sharp pain while doing a job and you're in a shift. If you never felt that before, it's probably a CA1. If it's something that you've been noticing over a period of time, it's a CA2.
Okay. Javon Waltman said CA2. Okay, I have another problem. I have an OA in my right knee for years now. I have enough of the pain. Can I do a CA2 for this?
So osteoarthritis of the knee is a CA2. It's something that develops over time. It almost never happens in a single shift. So yes. And by the way, a lot of our offices treat that as their specialty. And so we've got a lot of experience in getting osteoarthritis of the knee approved. I mean, a lot of carriers, all carriers, by job description and writing, walk 8 to 10 miles a day. And you all know you keep your jobs 20 to 30 years. If a person walks 10 miles a day for 20 years, so 10 miles a day, let's say 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year for 10 years, that's a lot of miles. And you're likely to get OA as a result. We get those claims approved all the time because that's work related.
Doris said, do I need to do another CA2 for an accepted prior carpal tunnel claim from 2008?
If it's already accepted, you don't need a new CA2. If you've had a flare-up of it, it's a 2A. But again, remember what I said. Talk to your doctor. Make sure that it's not something new.
Muva T said, so I shouldn't listen to the orthopedic surgeon.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. Look, I'm not a doctor. I couldn't overrule a doctor. What I'm saying is when you go to an orthopedic surgeon to get your claim approved, they generally don't write narratives to get claims approved. They're great at surgery, but they're not report writers in my experience. That doesn't mean there's not an orthopedic surgeon that can write a report. I mean, Dr. Rob McLaughlin in our Norwood, Massachusetts office is an orthopedic surgeon, and he can write beautiful narratives, but he's the exception to the rule. Almost nobody does.
Judy said, I'm doing what you say and still getting nowhere.
Judy, I know. And so I'm familiar with Judy's case. We've talked, and all I can tell you, Judy, is just keep your head up and hang in there because yours is a case that's winnable. And we're good at winning them. So just hang in there. I really like talking to her, though. Judy's really good at communicating. She keeps me posted. Yeah, she's a good lady.
Kimberly says, can you get a claim for arthritis on the knee?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I said about osteoarthritis of the knee. It's the same thing. We get those approved all the time because anybody that walks 10 miles a day for 20 years has OA in the knee. I mean, I'm just saying. And I'm not even a doctor, but that's just common sense.
Let's see what's on this other.
I mean, imagine walking 10 miles a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year for 20 years. I did the math a long time ago. That's thousands of miles, but that's thousands of miles on your knees and the bone, like this is your femur, that's your tibia. It's doing this, right? And there's cartilage in the middle of it. And over time, that cartilage wears down until it's touching each other. How do I know this? Because I have it in both of my knees and it sucks. So your cartilage wears out. And that is how OA is, how it develops.
We have Dr. Cooper on from Federal Injury Centers of Phoenix City.
Dr. Cooper, what's up? So everyone here knows Dr. Cooper. He's on all the time, but don't forget, if you're in the Atlanta area or you're right there near Columbus, Georgia, and you have a work injury and you go someplace else, you do that to yourself. So call Dr. Cooper.
Walt Taylor. Hey, Mr. Taylor.
What's up?
He's with DOD. He said, hey, fam.
What's happening?
Tony said, howdy, guys.
What's up, Tony?
Angie Jones said, how can you get your doctor to do a narrative? That is what the Department of Labor needs?
Yeah, so Department of Labor needs narratives. That's how they get claims approved. And if you have to convince your doctor to write a narrative, you went to the wrong doctor.
Yeah, Angie, I know you and Dr. Cooper are going back and forth. You said you're in North Carolina. We have an office in Charlotte.
Yeah.
If anybody's looking for any of our offices, they're all listed at www.federalinjurycenters.com, and you just click the locations tab.
Yep.
All right, let's see. We have Okay, I fell about a little over a year on my right side hip and shoulder and neck. They didn't approve my hip, but the other two did. My hip was replaced the same year. I could not walk last week. So what do I need to do to get them approved, to get it approved?
Well, you talk to Ellie and see what she's got to say about that. Now, would you read that question again? Sorry, my dog was going to start barking, so I let her in. She got bit on the nose today. She's a little unhappy. The dog next door wasn't so happy with her.
And she's jealous because I'm holding the love of my life.
What was that question again? I thought I was the love of your life. All right, get out.
No, it's no.
All right, what was that question again? Let's go again.
Okay, let's see. It's
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I fell a little over a year on my right side hip and shoulder and neck. They didn't approve my hip, but the other two did. My hip was replaced the same year. I couldn't walk last week, so what do I need to do to get them to approve it? Okay, you need a diagnosis expansion. So assuming that all of that happened at once, then your hip should be added to the claim. So your doctor's going to have to write a report called a diagnosis expansion report. All of our doctors know how to do that. Alternatively, you may need a new CA2 or CA1, but that is something that can be approved. You have 3 years from the date of injury to get it approved, or to at least, report it. But it sounds like you did that already.
Trish said, how long do I have to file an appeal after a denial?
Okay, so there's different time frames, depends on what kind of appeal. If you do a reconsideration, you have 12 months, and that's what I recommend. It's not what everyone else recommends. It's what I recommend, because 12 months is a huge window, and it's hard to miss it. I want to say when you're looking for a question, my buddy Ron Speakman's on. Let's everyone say hello to Ron. Ron's in the Philly area in Allentown. He loves phone calls at 3 a.m. His wife doesn't mind at all.
I don't mind.
Just
either.
Kidding. Don't call Ron.
You can call.
You call us. Leave Ron alone. Let him and his wife and daughter be in peace. But no, look, Ron. Thanks for being on. I love you, man.
That's what we got on LinkedIn. 29 people. Okay. All right. What else do we got? Hi, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Judy, can you text me your address? I would like to send you a treat for all your hard work.
Well, Judy, if that's us, we'll text you the address, but please don't send us gifts. We don't want anything in exchange for this. I know that sounds like cliche, but I don't want anything from anybody. I just want you to win. That's why I do this. I could do anything. Rich said that. And I was thinking about how I could open a great sub shop. I'd make great sandwiches. I'm the best sandwich maker of all time who never owned a sandwich shop. So I could do that, but I do this right now. And my thanks is that you're getting the help you need.
Yeah. All right. So we went over what the CA1 was, CA2, CA2A, and when to file them. Okay. Can you go back to the front of that? Your
oh, yeah. You want to go to this?
So those of you that are in the Orlando area on this Friday at Yard House from 6 to 9, Chris and I will be there. Our Orlando doctor will be there. Our Melbourne, Tallahassee doctor will be there. And our Miami doctor will be there.
Shoot.
So come out.
It's going to be a full house just on our end.
Have a drink. Have an appetizer. Come ask your questions. We're going to have some brochures. We're going to have some magnets and pens and some bags. So come by. Say hello. I know maybe iDrive is a little too far, but it's Friday night.
But if you haven't been to International Drive in Orlando on a Friday night, you've just not had fun yet. And
next Monday, we're going to be traveling to Virginia Beach, where our new doctor is starting training, Dr. Jonathan Clark.
And he was on tonight, so everyone again say hello to him. And when he's trained, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
So that you can go get help there and get your claims accepted.
But we are going to be in Virginia Beach training the stewards for the AFGE coal and mine workers. So we're looking forward to that. This is our second time being invited out there.
Staying on Atlantic Boulevard.
Great.
In October on the Atlantic Ocean. I imagine it's going to be kind of chilly up there.
We'll have to look at
I can't wait.
I can't wait. I want the cold.
It's going to be nice.
And then on
2 weeks
October 25th, thanks to President Rob Rios with APWU out in Sanford, we're going to be training their stewards at 9 a.m. This is only for that.
Wait, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, 9 a.m.
No. I changed my mind.
That's just going to be for their local. So Chris and I will be there Monday and Tuesday. And I think Ellie's trying to tell us that it's time to go.
What do you want, baby?
All right, guys. So we're hoping that you guys can come out on Friday. Those of you in the Orlando area, come meet our doctors. Come grab a drink. Have a shot with me. Maybe a martini, the whole one that I drink.
Yeah.
And
the half of
we
one.
are this weekend. The reason we're going to Orlando is we are doing some recruiting.
Doctors.
Some doctors. See who else wants to join the team.
And it's not just Florida doctors. We've
Yeah.
got plenty of Florida offices. We're looking for doctors outside of Florida, and there's going to be a lot of them there. So we're really excited. And I get to go and, the way we do the recruiting is I get, 30 minutes to talk. And you all know I do okay talking. So the last time I did this, we were in Las Vegas, which gives me a moment to reflect on being in Las Vegas. But I did my talk for 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And I left, and like half the room followed me out into the hallway, meaning that the next person that had to talk didn't have half the people to listen to. So I do an effective talk that is good at recruiting. We've got, I think, 60 plus offices now. 51 listed on the website. The other ones are in training.
Still training.
So we've done a really good job. Just a couple of years ago, we only had 7 or 8. So now we're going to be, by the end of next year, we're going to be at 100 locations around the country.
Yeah.
And that's because you need doctors. Like Rich said, you can have great unions. You can have educated members like yourself. But if you don't have doctors who can get claims accepted, it doesn't really matter anymore because your claims are denied and you're in hell. And so that's why we do it, because you need it. So anyways, we're going to be out in Orlando doing just that.
Yeah. So those of you who are asking when we're going to come to your state, we are, after we go to Virginia Beach, we just have 2 local things in Florida to do, but we are done traveling for the year for union stuff, unless somebody reaches out to me by the end of the week.
I'm ready for
we
a
have
vacation.
a little bit of room left, but we're done traveling probably from November to maybe February. We'll start again.
So we're going to end it here, but I want to end with this. We had the hurricane that hit, and thank God we were good. The Tampa area was supposed to get a direct hit, but then it didn't, which meant it had to hit somebody else. And it hit the Fort Myers area, and they were just devastated. A lot of people have done a lot of good work. I want to say a special thank you to Natasha Patterson.
Yeah.
She's a rural carrier. She used to be the president of Florida. And she sent me a picture, because we're really good friends. And she sent me a picture of a living room. And it looked like a warehouse of, supplies, drinks, and cleaning materials and food and everything. And so we had, thank God for her, we were able to ourselves make a decent donation.
Yeah.
I want to say, though, thank you to Natasha for taking care of the folks down there. If any of you has an opportunity to do some work down there and help down there, please do. They need it. They got devastated. They got just crushed by the hurricane. So we can all do a little bit or a lot to help out, and it'll make a huge difference. Anyways, I just want to say that. Thanks, Natasha. And for everyone that helped her and her effort, thank you too.
Yeah. This last question, what do you mean by a doctor narrative? Does it have to written in a paragraph?
Yeah. So doctor's narratives, your doctor, if they're not federal injury centers, is going to write like a page or half a page, and it's going to get denied. I just know that because I've seen thousands of them.
Yeah.
Ours are 3 to 6 pages long, and
Yeah.
they get approved. So that's what it takes. Yes. That's how you get a claim approved.
All right, guys, before these dogs take down our lighting here.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for staying on with us for the 2 hours or 1 hour and a half or so. And again, we're going to be in Orlando Friday.
Come see us.
I'm going to repost it. We hope to see you guys there. We're going to have 3 of our doctors there. It's from 6 to 9 at the Yard House this Friday. See you guys then.
And we're out in 3, 2, 1.
Bye.